Coming up, does your backyard need raising from the dead? Make your own workbench, but don't settle for plain Jane. Graham's making your veggies look as good as they taste.
Everything here is grown organically and it really shows.
Well, winter is behind us, so it's time to start coming out of our cocoons and enjoy our outdoor spaces more.
Yeah, but with months or even years of neglect, they might not be looking that inviting.
Yes, like this one. I mean, you could look at this yard and think, gosh, there's a lot of work to do to get it into shape.
No, it's easy. With a couple of weekends put aside for some small jobs that anyone can do, we're going to easily transform this space for spring, summer and beyond.
I love how optimistic you are.
Hey, confidence, spring.
Hi, Kathy.
How are you guys?
How are you?
We've just been admiring your backyard.
Not much of a backyard. It's a bit of a mess.
Yeah, it was a very quick conversation.
What is it about the garden you don't like?
Yeah, there's a lot of weeds if you haven't seen.
Do you use the space a lot, though?
Not really.
Okay.
'Cause,
So we need to make
there's
something
a bit of reluctance to be in the backyard.
I'm just looking at the traffic. It's obviously quite a busy road, so maybe we could give you a bit more privacy from the street as well.
Yeah, no, that sounds
That'll be
good.
nice.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I'm impressed there's been a bit of a crack at some veggie growing over
Yeah,
here.
I can see some carrots there, all looking good.
That was the COVID lockdown exercise.
Okay.
Yeah.
Doomsday prepping, I like it. Yeah.
And I think the deck obviously can do with a bit of a freshen up, maybe a bit of a paint job.
It is, but it's a good usable space.
Yeah.
The grass also slopes quite a lot as well. So, I mean, having 2 young kids, maybe if we can try and level that up, you might be able to use it a bit more.
No, that sounds good.
All right, so we'll get stuck into it and we'll see you guys back here at the end.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
That's heavier than it looks. I'm putting in a retaining wall at the end of the garden just to level it up and make it more practical. And you can see by the height of the exposed post, it's not going to be too high. It's only about 300 mil high. But that retaining wall over this short distance is going to make a big difference. Now, as a rule of thumb, if you haven't put a retaining wall in, you need some pretty secure posts. You need to go 2/3 in the ground to 1/3 out of the ground. So we're 300 high. My maths tells me it needs to be 200 deep. I am actually going to go a little bit deeper, though, just to make sure.
Baby, you and I, baby, we gon' make it to the end of time. This loving is forever, you should know by now. And I'ma always love you 'cause it's you.
So one of the obvious features in this backyard is the view of the road. Now, obviously, we can't actually get rid of it completely, but we can help obscure it. So we're going to use these screens. They're off the shelf from Bunnings that we've just trimmed down to size. And basically, we're going to put a little cover strip here on the front. So from this side, aesthetically, it'll look pleasing and allow us to screw the screens on from the back.
My heart is in your hand, just take me where you are, and we can go far now. 2 hearts beating now.
Okay, time for the screen to go in. Now, you see here that Sean's going to put some screws in the back.
Lover, you should know by now. And I'ma always love you 'cause it's you and I. Ooh,
When you're building a retaining wall, there's a couple of things you need to remember. If you're going over 600 millimetres in height or closer to a boundary than 900 millimetres, you need to inform council. This is neither, so we're good to go. I'm using a treated pine sleeper. Now, these are lightweight, they're cost-effective, and they're really easy to work with. Standard height of a sleeper is 200 millimetres, but the width, these ones are 100 mil, which makes them really nice and chunky. If you go the smaller ones, say 50 or 75 millimetres, over time they're going to warp, and I really want this wall to last. A bit of concrete, a bit more water.
we do it for the glory.
So time to turn our attention to this deck. You can see this jarrah stain is really showing its wear and tear. Now, we could obviously sand all this back and start from scratch, but we're actually going to change the colour, which will make this whole area really sing. So first things first, we've got to give the deck a really good clean down. We've got to make sure that we wet it down, give it a good scrub, and make sure it dries before we put our new colour on. So, Charlie, what do you want for Christmas? I'm only asking because it's taking you so long to get this done. We're almost there.
Ouch! First you said I was fat at the beginning and needed to lose weight. Now this.
I definitely did not say that. No, but I finished my project. I'm waiting for you guys.
So I didn't see you working up there behind your excellent screens.
It's because they obscured me so well. All right, I'm going to help the boys do a step.
The biggest failure of retaining walls is water collecting behind them, building up pressure and pushing them over. If you've got a larger wall, you'd probably want something like an ag line just to get rid of that water, but because this wall is quite small, I'm just using blue metal. Now this is going to disperse the water and keep the wall upright.
This looks so much better. I mean, there was actually nothing wrong with this regulation height here. It was just a bit of an awkward sort of step up. Instead, by putting this step that wraps the whole way around, if you're walking down the side of the house, it's way more inviting to come up onto the deck this way, and so much nicer to be able to come out into the garden here. And also, it's like extra seating for the family. Brilliant. Just going for a nice, relaxing walk because I finished my second job for the day.
Oh, look, I'm trying. I'm going over,
You're doing quite a lot, though. This is
doing
quite a
quality over quantity.
Yeah, true. Yeah, you've got me there.
I will catch up.
Yeah, I've got no doubt.
I will, I promise you. In the top part of the garden, I'm going to do a small paved area. That's going to extend the entertaining space and make the most of the garden. The best part about it is we don't have to dig any soil out because of the level change. I am putting in a footing. I'm just going to use some road base, compact that down.
Now, I know I promised you a colour change, and believe it or not, we are going from Jarrah to Beach House Grey. But you might be looking at this and thinking I'm possibly going a little bit crazy. But the grey will actually come out as the stain dries. With a couple of coats, it'll make such a difference.
With our road base in and compacted, we've got a really solid base for our paving. Now, I'm just using river sand, which we'll screed out to get our levels, and we can lay our pavers directly on top of that. Screeding doesn't have to be a difficult job. You're just trying to create a nice level spot for your pavers to sit on. We've got our step, which creates one level. We want that to be nice and flat, and we've got our retaining wall. It's important that the paving does this to get rid of the water going straight into the garden bed. Also, I've just used a couple of tin strips here to give me something to pull back on. The key to that is to do it nice and slowly so you don't gouge holes in your screed. For our new paving, I've selected a dark charcoal concrete paver. It harmonises perfectly with Joe's deck, but it's also nice and hard wearing. Now, concrete can chip if you butt the edges up, so I'm just putting in a small tiling spacer that we're then going to sweep some paving sand into.
Now, on the decking area, there's actually quite a bit of exposed brick, and we're not painting it. Instead, on one side, the end where the screens are, we're actually going to tie in those screens by hanging two wall features that will have both screens and actually a mirror inside. So first things first, we actually have to make the frame for the wall hangings, and that's easy. We just got to stick this smaller 30 timber on the 60, just on the inside of the round, just with a bit of glue, and then we nail it off. So next up, we're going to glue our 4 pieces of the frame together. We're not using nails. Instead, what we're going to do is glue them into place and then hold them with masking tape until the glue actually sets, and that will be plenty of strength. And then after that, we're going to give this and the backing board a coat of paint. These are just smaller screens than the ones that we've got out the back. We've just screwed it into our frame. But to make this the real wall feature, what we're now going to do is actually put a mirror behind here. First of all, a bit of double-sided tape, and then we're just going to do a little bit of silicone on this, secure the mirror to the backing board. Okay, do not break the mirror. Do not break the mirror. Just check. Walking away.
Something out there to open my mind as time kept passing.
Charlie, these look gorgeous.
How good are they? Good height on them as well.
Yeah, speaking of height, what a difference just levelling out this backyard has made.
Yeah, but you can
I know.
brings in the road a bit more.
The road into play a bit more. And obviously, I mean, my screens look gorgeous, but they're not doing a huge amount to...
Don't put yourself down, Joe. You're doing enough. This is the water house here. We've got really good height out of a pot that's relatively small. You know, we've got a good 6 foot.
Collingwood 6 foot.
Okay, well, yeah, so maybe. But, you know, the thing I love about this tree is it's going to get really tall, but it can be kept narrow, so it's not going to interfere with the lawn.
OK, so you actually have to trim it back quite regularly?
The more you trim it, the better. So you basically want to take off what's called the apical dominance, which is the bud on the end.
Yep.
The more you do that, the bushier the plant will be.
Fantastic. We've got about 20 of these to put in, so we better get cracking.
Oh, is that all? But not too deep to rot my plants. No, not too deep to rot my plants.
What are you singing?
Thinking my hole needs to be a little bit deeper, but not too deep to rot my plants. You have to excuse me.
Is that the same song for this hole?
No, that hole's all right. That hole is fine, that hole is fine. Plant away, my dear. Beautiful.
Charlie, what a difference this green makes.
Oh, doesn't it look good?
It does.
The planting scheme for this garden is all about being low maintenance and hardy. So for the bulk, I'm using things like this. It's a crassula called Bluebird, and then I'm pairing it up with fail-safe plants like the Liriope and this one. This is called Limonium perezii. Now this loves hot baking sun. It flowers to give us a little bit of colour, but these flowers last for absolutely ages. You can even cut them off and take them into the house. I'm grouping the plantings in this top corner, and as the ground peters off because of our new retaining wall, I'm not wasting the money on planting that out.
Now, it might feel like a long time ago, but remember right at the start of this makeover, Kathy and Howard had 2 tiny little veggie patches that they were attempting on the side. Nice effort, but to be honest, very low to the ground. So we're actually going to replace them with these 2 fantastic planter boxer styles. They don't lose any of the space that they had, but it's a much better height to be able to pick and use in your cooking. So we've made this little frame, just 2 short pieces of timber, 2 long pieces of timber, screwed them together and painted them white. And then picked up these little tubs, and obviously we've measured it out, but they just fit in here. They've got holes in the bottom, so you don't have to worry about too much water being left inside of them. Look at that. Imagine when we plant this up, it's going to be a fantastic height. And then one down low for the kids. Now, I'm sure that Charlie would agree, but spring is a great time in the garden, but particularly if you're going to plant veggies.
I do agree.
Oh, thank goodness. So look, we've got these local Bunnings. They've got a fantastic selection of beautiful herbs and veggies and all sorts of little seedlings. And here, we've just gone for a whole lot of different combinations of height and things that you'd use most often in the kitchen. So we've got parsley and we've got some kale, some English spinach, we've got mint, we've got some beautiful lemon thyme, coriander, chives. So we've just gone for a whole sort of different combination of heights. And look, even when you look at the back of the house, it just breaks it up so beautifully with these little strips of green. Would you like me to actually get said lawn as opposed to just standing here watching you throwing fertiliser around?
You could do. I could pretend there's more so I don't have to lump the lawn around. I'll just...
Jeez, he's a busy man, isn't he?
Let me just take a breath. Let me just
Look at that.
Beautiful.
Some delicious green.
Delicious greens, and you
Look at
have
that.
come through.
Yummy.
Yummy. What's this turf, Charlie?
This is Grange. It's a type of zoysia. Once it's established, super low maintenance, hardly uses any water, hardly uses any fertilizer. It takes a while to establish, but that's because it's slow growing.
Yeah.
Because it's slow growing, you don't need to mow it as much.
But I love it. It's just like so intense,
It's nice, isn't it?
Feels so nice.
The one thing it doesn't like is water in its roots.
Okay.
So, hence why we turn that big pile of sand into our underlay. About 100 mil is perfect.
Yep.
Lay this on top.
And so when you say not much fertiliser, so that fertiliser you put underneath, that's enough for this now?
Yeah.
Oh, how easy is that?
Yeah, it's perfect.
I can't see anything. Feels like I'm out on everything.
Hey!
Hi.
Hi. Wow. Wow.
Wow.
Beautiful.
You got a nice little area you can sit out in the balcony now?
Oh, for sure, yeah. Read a book and
Yeah.
relax, get away from the kids.
So we've gone for a low-maintenance garden
Yeah.
to suit your lifestyle. All the plants are really easy to care for. You just need to make sure you keep your herbs and veggies well watered.
Yeah.
Okay. I like how the stagger is over there, the paving and the grass.
Well, the idea was we didn't want
No,
like a
there's lots of
harsh
fence.
line,
Yeah.
because that would just give you a definite, this is paving,
that's a
this
nice
is grass. So
touch
it's
there.
just a
Yeah.
nice way to integrate it, yeah.
So when we spoke to you before you left, we decided that you were pretty easy to keep happy, and I reckon it's a case of job done.
I think so.
Definitely job done. Yeah.
Seriously, the easiest people we've ever actually done work for.
This guy just wants a strawberry.
If we'd known that, that would have been quicker.
Bare walls, well, they don't leave much to the imagination. And when you're trying to find just the right piece for a tricky spot like this, it can be really hard. I mean, do you go for a big print or a mirror? Well, I reckon you should have a go at customising something yourself. And if you take the colours and the inspiration from what's around you, you'll have a piece that truly works. So let's have a go at making something just a little bit different. Flower hoops, which can decorate a wall in a bedroom so beautifully because you can incorporate all of these soft, delicate colours. Now, believe it or not, this is real. These days you can buy a wide array of gorgeous preserved flowers in these really delicate colours. Easily in Australia you can find eucalyptus and gum leaves, all sorts of different natives. You can buy catkins quite readily. And if you can't, you can also use faux foliage. Any of these incorporated together will look so beautiful, even if they are plastic. You can always buy hoops, of course, or if you're handy, you can actually make them yourself. They're pretty easy. All you need is something that's fairly pliable. You could use vine from the garden, or you can use cane. And you can get this from upholstery supplies. It comes in long lengths. It's pretty cheap, and the good thing about it is you can coil it round and round and you get a good few layers, which helps to allow you to tuck all of those little flowers into. So you don't even need to wire it or glue, just keep twisting it round and it will help to hold itself together. You can add beautiful texture to a hoop just by using different materials like this hessian. You can get this from the craft store. Now you'll see here the colour coordinates beautifully with the palette, so that's a really important thing. You don't want it to stand out too much. But what's nice about hessian is you can cut it down. You can see you get these little threads that you can just pluck away, and it gives you a really nice little fringe effect, which is quite beautiful when it's mixed in with the flowers. I think that's nice. Now this is where the layers of the cane actually come in quite handy, because you can tuck that end in between and then just very gently just wind it around. You don't want to make it too tight. These loose sort of swathes really add to the look. Then once you get to the other end, just tuck that in and it will hold itself in place nicely. Okay, so now you just work out where you want that to sit. It could go at the top or it could go down to one side, which I think is quite nice. So the rest of it really is about the flowers and the foliage. So I think we'll start with the greenery. So you just want little sprigs of eucalypt and bind them tightly together, just using wire. And then, using a slightly thicker wire, you can attach it to the hoop. There's no real styling tip that I can offer you apart from just keep looking at the balance. I think that's actually quite nice because it's offset. So you need something on this side just to add an equal balance to the hoop. So what I've got here is the amaranthus, which has got a nice drape. So I'll start it on one side and basically loop it over the top, and you can see you get that really pretty hang. It's so nice, and the colour's beautiful too. Remembering the old decorating rule that odd numbers always work better than even. I don't know why, but they just do. So I've added two more here, a larger one and a smaller one, just to kind of add that balance. Now the curve of the hoops ties in perfectly with the curve of the bed head, and the colours, well, they match beautifully. It's one of a kind, unique artwork that you can do, so why not give it a go?
Something in the water.
Farmers markets and market garden stalls just like this one are popping up right across Australia. And we all know when we see them, it means freshness. Now, what they're producing is seasonally grown vegetables that are local and they're also organic. Now, they're not only providing for their own families, but for the wider community as well.
Oh, there's something in the water. There's something in the water.
I'm at Piccolo Farm at Thirlmere, just on the outskirts of the south of Sydney. Now, I'm here to meet a lovely young couple whose passion for growing organic food really shines through in the way that they manage their little farm. But will you look at the quality of this amazing produce?
Seems like it's a new beginning, trying to make it feel
Everything here is grown organically and it really shows. Have a look at this rainbow chard. Kids love to grow them because of those red stems. Yes, it's a colourful spinach. It might even get them to start eating their veggies. There's garlic, also onions, leeks, and there's cauliflowers, cabbages, and there's flowers all the way through it. The property is actually quite small, just on 4¼ acres, and it came about when a Swedish travel agent and an Italian chef came together, and then about 5 years ago we're looking for a tree change for their small family, and Piccolo Farm, which means little in Italian, was born. I knew I'd find you guys at work. How are you?
G'day, how you going?
What a glorious day. Now, I've been wanting to get here since Fast Eddie was raving about the place when he was here before. This is brilliant. You must be having a lot of fun.
Thank you, yeah, we are.
Isn't it great? Tree change, fun, and great produce.
We enjoy it.
Yeah.
It's fantastic exchange.
Why organic?
We were trying to find really good organic produce in the city, and we started doing community gardening.
Yes.
And then one thing led to another. All of a sudden, it's, you know, a year and a half later, we were looking, and there you go.
Yeah.
It's a big property with all our own.
It all started producing for ourselves,
Yeah.
and then it just grew. And we wanted to share, and we shared with the community and now to restaurants.
We're realising that seasonality is really important for flavour.
It's very important for flavour. You're getting things in their peak rather than trying to force them to do what you want them to do.
Yeah.
So,
And they've actually ripened on the plant.
on the plant.
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
lovely attraction.
With this fellow up here,
Sunlight.
Sunshine. I'd just like to have a look around. What's inside that igloo?
That's where we grow the tomatoes.
Ah, can I have a look?
You want to show?
Brilliant.
See you guys.
Okay.
Have fun.
Thank you. Now, you got the tomatoes in, it's a great time of the year. A little bit early, so I guess you can get that protection.
Yeah, we don't get frost in here, so we can get away with scheduling them a bit earlier than what home gardeners can do.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
it. Now, what sort of varieties? You've got 3 rows here, but they seem to be slightly different planting times.
They're only a couple of weeks apart, but because of the different varieties, you'll see that the size of the tomato plants are quite different as well.
Oh, right.
We've got some of the mini Romas to start with. So the mini Romas are Florentinos. We have orange cherry there.
Ah,
This row is all green zebras.
it's a great flavour, actually.
They're amazing,
Yeah.
and they're so decorative on a plate together.
Now, if you're like me and been inspired to plant some tomatoes, the timing is perfect. And there are lots of varieties. With all tomatoes, it's what's happening in the soil that's important. And what's really going on is nutrition, a nice gentle feed, some seaweed that's going to help the roots settle in, some compost. You just need to sprinkle it around, mix it in, just a handful is plenty. I've actually pinched some of Lizzie's zebra tomatoes. Look at that, roots and all, isn't it great? Plant your tomatoes a little bit deeper than you would normally because they develop roots out from the stem. Then as the plant starts to grow, 6 to 8 weeks later, another little sprinkle. But the other thing you've got to be wary about is these tomatoes are going to get to 2 metres tall. And my suggestion is just make yourself up a little teepee, about a good handspan apart, down at the ground level there. Then keep that feed going. Now, a point of warning. In some parts of Australia, next month, October, maybe late October, you can still get frost. So wrap a little bit of hessian around. Remember, frost comes into a garden like surf onto a beach. Right, okay, now don't forget to remove the hessian once the frost is over and summer has arrived, sunshine, a bit of feeding every 6 to 8 weeks, and you'll have a fantastic crop of tomatoes this year. Well, thank you for hosting us today. It's been fantastic. I've
Very
learned so
welcome.
much. Brilliant.
Very welcome.
Thanks so much.
But more importantly, congratulations on what you're doing for your community here, which is brilliant. Absolutely
you.
brilliant.
I
Cheers.
brought you some produce
Oh!
that you might like to take home.
Hey, thank you very much. Fresh veggies.
Enjoy.
That's brilliant. I will enjoy.
Cheers.
All the best to you. See you, Jimmy.
you.
Bye now.
He's asleep.
Having a well laid out workspace with your tools close at hand makes any job that much easier. I'm going to show you how to make a workbench that will do just that. And it's so simple you can have a crack at it this weekend. To make it, I'm just using some dressed pine, 90 by 90 for the posts, 90 by 45 for the frame, and a couple of sheets of plywood for the bench top and the shelf. The first step, I need to mark it up and cut them to size. With everything marked, I'm going to be using my drop saw to cut it all to size. With everything cut, the way this works is the top of our post will be our bench height. So similar to the bench that I'm working off now. The only difference is I want to add in a shelf as well because there's no such thing as too much storage. So where the shelf goes and the top of our bench, I need to create housings. I'll have to do that on all 4 posts.
Ooh. Let's get right down to it, baby. Yeah, you saw right through it, baby.
The frame for our bench top and shelf is 90 by 45. So that's what size I'm making these checkouts. 90mm across and 45 down. With all the legs marked out, I'm going to be using a circular saw to do the cuts. You just want to make sure that you set it to the depth, which is 45mm. Then I'll be making a sequence of cuts around 3 to 5mm apart and using a hammer and chisel to clean it out. With all the cuts made, I'm now ready to knock them out. With the checkout's cleaned out. I just want to get rid of these sharp edges, create a bit of a bevel. For that, I'll be using my planer, but you can use a sander to get the same effect. I'm now ready to make the frame for the bench top, and that is basically a ladder frame. So I'm just marking out the 2 side rails. And I'll pre-drill and countersink all the holes. Then screw it together using bugle screws. Once that's together, I can attach the 4 posts, and for the frame for the shelf, it will be built exactly the same way, but in place. With our ladder frame complete, we're now ready to attach our legs. And they'll go in the 4 corners, just using some glue and bugle screws. They'll slip over the edge here and get fixed in place. Tell you what, these are some of the best looking legs I think I've ever seen. Sorry, honey. As solid as a rock. That is the frame complete, and now we're ready to put the bench top on and the shelf. For that, we are using plywood. It's 19mm thick. Now, the tip here is they come in 2 4x1200 sheets. Obviously, that's going to be a bit hard to transport, so you can get Bunnings to cut it down for you, which means this piece is ready to sit on top and be screwed off. This is a pretty good looking workbench if I do say so myself, and you could finish it here if you like, but I want to add a couple more pieces to it. I want to create a backboard, and to do that, I've got some more dressed pine, and I'm just going to be fixing it to the back of both posts, which allows us to have this overhang where I can then attach some plywood to hang our tools on. I'll just add some screws to hold it in place. And what's a workspace without a vice? And that's why I created this overhang here, because if I mounted it underneath our main frame, it's a little bit too low. So I'll just block it out with a couple of bits of timber. I'll stay about 5mm under the surface of our workbench. It should be tip-top. Well, I told you it was simple. Definitely something you can make this weekend. A brand new workstation that will last you a lifetime. You know, I just need to get myself some new tools. That's better.
Australia is a land of great contrast, isn't it? First of all, we had drought. And then, of course, we had fire. And then we had floods, rain everywhere. And with rain came just a few problems, particularly for our animals. You see, I'm here on the mid-north coast of New South Wales. I'm here to visit a goat. A goat has got sick since the rains came. Well, I've a fair idea what's going on, so let's go and find out what this is all about. Come on, Roger. Run me through the list of animals that you've got here. What have you got?
Got lots of goats, chickens, ducks, guinea fowl, as you heard, and 6 donkeys.
6 donkeys.
Yes, 6
What is the attraction in donkeys?
I just love donkeys. I just love their natures. They're so affectionate. They've got great personalities.
So what are you doing here, the pair of you?
We run a retreat here. We're on 9 acres. We've got 3 cottages in the property.
So, I believe you've got a bit of a problem on the place, right? You've got a problem with one particular individual. Who's that?
That's our very treasured goat, Simba.
We used to hang out in the backyard.
He's actually been really sick and we didn't really think he was going to pull through.
Let's go and visit him then. Lead the way.
So he's round this way.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what happened?
He went to pay the neighbours a visit for a month or so. They found him about a month later lying in the paddock on his side and he couldn't get back up. So he was very, very ill by that stage. So we brought him back over and he couldn't get up. He was just really skinny, still wanted to eat. We did a bit of a Dr. Google and we're pretty sure it was due to worms.
Yes.
We started injecting him with B complex.
What happened then?
And we wormed him.
So you wormed him, he said B complex, your local vet came and had a look as well.
Yeah.
And he made a diagnosis of?
Of barber's pole worm.
Yes.
And anemia. So basically we were doing the right things for him. So the advice from the vet was we basically had to pick him up and stand him and hold him there every hour, which we did for a couple of days. And then he suddenly just took off. He walked away and saw the lovely green grass. And since then, he's a little bit better, but he still obviously looks quite ill.
Let's have a look at this goat, okay, and see what we think. I look at the eye. So I'm looking at the colour of the conjunctiva inside his eye. It's disastrous. We have a rough score for that, all right, where if it's 1, it looks really, really good colour. And if it's 5, it's really bad colour. That's 5. To get the full picture here, my examination also includes feeling Simba's body condition, looking at the coat, plus hearing what the heart, lungs and gut are doing. So he's terribly, terribly anemic. And yes, this is the major symptom of what we call barber's pole world. The proper name is Haemonchus contortus. And they exist in the 4th stomach, and they are there in their thousands. Now, we know the name comes from the fact that the old barber's pole, which was outside a male barber shop, was red and white stripes. So in the case of the female, if you look at her, you'll see that it is, again, red and white stripes. And each female is capable of sucking 0.05 mils of blood per day. If you get 1,000, they're going to suck 50.
Yeah.
You keep pulling that out, and you get anemic very quickly.
Yeah.
Very quickly. Yeah. So I want to try and replace some of that. So iron is what we need in the diet.
Yeah.
And I'm going to give initial injection here to my mate. And you're going to follow this up because I'll leave you a couple more syringes, but you can order this in as a paste, which will be easier for you to use than this. And then I've got to talk to you about the whole flock. Okay, we've got to talk about managing your situation, and that's what's important. So why is barber's pole such a problem on the mid-north coast of New South Wales? Because you've got high temperature, high humidity. The 2 things that are necessary for those little larvae that are on the ground to survive and to grow and to prosper. Now, we had a period of drought where everything was dry and the larvae just wouldn't have hatched. And then suddenly we got rain, bang! And just larvae everywhere, nice green shoots from the goats, and the cattle said, whoopee-doo. And the larva said, whoopee-die. And this one's a very clever little one, because what's it do? It actually climbs up the blades of grass. It only climbs, usually speaking, about 4 inches. So if you've got tall grass, taller than, say, 6 inches high, it's unlikely that you're going to get any larvae right up the top. But you'll minimise the amount of worms they get by getting them off little short grass like we got down the back here and getting them on tall stuff, or better still, browse. So that can be your lucerne hay, or it can be just roughage hay, because nothing will survive on dry matter like that. Now then, that's worms. And managing your pasture is just so terribly important. All right? Second thing is disease and managing your vaccinations. In this area, I would be vaccinating every 6 months.
Okay.
And if you manage all of that and get on board a little goat organisation, ounce of prevention is worth a ton of cure. Catch you later. See ya.
Thanks, Dr. Harry.